So for today's lab practical, you guys are going to be making biscuits and gravy. This is a roux-based practical because you will be making a roux. So to start off, I'm using a small skillet here, and I'm going to be adding in some sausage. Now, in the past when you guys have made a roux, you guys have used butter as your fat in that roux, but this sausage is actually going to give off its own fat as we cook it. So that's going to be the fat for our roux. So after our sausage is done cooking, we're simply going to add the flour to that, and that will create our roux. So we're going to let this sausage cook, and we'll show you guys what it looks like when we're ready to add in our flour. So you can see our sausage is all cooked up, and all that grease that came off of the sausage is what we're going to use as our fat to make our roux. So I'm ready to add in my flour. As I add this in, I'm going to make sure I'm stirring and getting that all coated around. Now again, this flour and the butter, or the fat from the sausage, is going to create our roux, which is going to be our thickening agent, so that when we add our milk, it will actually turn into a gravy for our biscuits and gravy. In the meantime, while you're doing this, make sure that you or your partner has gotten your biscuits toasted in the oven, so that when your biscuits and gravy sauce is done, you can top it over those nice toasty, freshly hot biscuits. So this is all nice and floured up, so I'm going to go ahead and pour in my milk. And I've got 1 cup of milk plus 2 tablespoons here. And if we did our roux right, as we stir this for a little bit, it should thicken up more like a gravy. And I spilled a little bit there, but that's okay. It's not going to thicken up right away, so make sure you keep it on that heat. Make sure you continue to stir, and over time it should thicken up, and we'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so I went ahead and took my toasted biscuits out of the oven and popped them onto a plate over here. And you can see my milk has really thickened up nicely with my biscuits and gravy. As I stir in the middle, it's starting to stick to where it's really, really hot in the pan. And this is about done. We're going to go ahead and pour this nice and hot over our biscuits that we toasted in the oven. And this is just going to be really, really yummy. The last thing that I want to do is season this with a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Just a nice sprinkle on top. Give that a nice stir in, and our biscuits and gravy is done. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat. And I am ready to serve this over my biscuits.